You sound Jamaican.
Oh,
I'm sitting in there saying, huh, I feel like I'm in this train station in London
oh, Osh.
or is an airport train station robotic voice that is now generic and which is used across the world. The software developers who give you these programs. So I said to my producer,
Yes.
yes, I said, couldn't we like have a Jamaican
And by
voice
saying that,
to do these things?
number one. Number one,
Exactly.
44.
That's exactly what Noel said.
So the people understand. Because I'm sure I've been in the place and I said, what am I saying? What am I saying?
Nobody called my number.
No, but there you go. And the pastor say, you say, 141. So you know, say
That's
Jamaican,
exactly
right?
what Noel said. What you want? You want to say number 252.
Yeah,
252.
People
Well,
laugh
I
now.
still think that would be better.
No, everybody respond because them say, no, it is true, you know.
Yeah.
Like I go down to RGD and they have a system like that.
Yeah,
Number.
that robotic
and,
voice
and
that
I'm
does
saying,
that.
you didn't hear them call your number. She said, what I say? No, this is not a joke. And
Okay, so I'm on to something.
They never connected. Then it's your number
Yeah.
they're calling, you know.
Yeah.
So I said, let me see your number. But you know how long they call them? She said, me never hear because it
Yeah, sound like radio.
never,
What you want to say, Percy?
no, man, they said, no. No,
Anyway, that is a project. I'm going to talk about it with our arts and culture people when they come on. I want to know, could we? Percy Lower start to tell me how difficult it might be to get there. I said, but the like the voice activated apps on your phone, Siri and Alexa, and
can
so
become
on.
Jamaicanized
You can make
or
you can
Creole-like.
choose your posh British voice or man or woman or whatever. So why can't we have a Jamaican voice?
True.
Why can't we? We should
It's
be able to do that here.
It's called imperialism.
Yeah. Well, hey, fire on that. But it was so funny. Exactly what you did is what Lowell did. Sat there hearing the number 144, number 252, number. I'm like, huh. I remember passing
252.
through Brazil and passing through the airport when they were there saying things like, wash your hands, maintain a safe distance. You know, during COVID, and you're hearing the messaging on the loop and the airport empty and you're rushing through. I said, that just sounds exactly, it's the same voice.
It's funny.
Lowell said, what people want them to say it Jamaican. Yes, I want to hear it Jamaican.
Yeah.
And the day will come when all of us will hear things exactly. Do you remember that on the day of Pentecost?
Everybody heard
it
about
in
the power
their,
of God in their language.
in
That is
their
what God
language,
is able to
in their
do.
dialect.
And it responded. And I've shared stories actually happened in a crusade and what happened in terms of the person speaking in patois. It's an Englishman,
Yes.
and a Jamaican was translating, and I was telling him about cat and how you pluralize thing, and they were waiting. So cat is puss.
Cat them.
Yeah,
Oh,
puss
no.
them, but the cat them, puss them. You can't say, because if we say the other way in terms of you pluralize it,
We'd have to explain ourselves.
no, and the people
Can you
would be
imagine?
saying, the broadcast commission, you heard what the pastor said online?
Pastor
They
better not
doesn't
say it.
that. I will not say that. So
Not
people
even for
now
fun.
yeah, but even as our guest would come this morning, creative expressions, we were looking at the recent pronouncement by the Minister of Education. And remember, if you recall, callers, I've been tracking it. I started on after 2 weeks, July 2 and July 9th, in terms of what was in the Sunday Gleaner, seeing that at that point in time, so early, there were applications, were clear vacancies there, not like a 4-month or 8-month. And between the 2 days, 29 and 23 schools, that was 50 schools, we had 467 vacancies in education. And she said, oh, I said, really now? Really now? She says, no, man, we're not getting it there. But she must take into consideration if last year there were 1,000 and something resignations, and I can out without fear of contradiction say a lot of schools, even for the recent academic year, did not have their full complement of teachers and staff. And that situation has become even more acute with the movement of teachers overseas. Personally, I know of 4 teachers, a husband and a wife. They're gone to England, and the other 2 are gone to no, it's 6 people, 6 teachers that have just migrated. And they said, sir, and these are the people who are the specialists like French, Spanish, science, vocational areas. And I think in talking to those teachers, they say, no, sir, really want to stay in Jamaica. But what happened in this recent negotiations, like a teacher who was in the classroom for 20 years with her masters. I said, that don't make no sense to me. She says, I'm out of here. And it just highlights the thinking of our leaders in terms of the 100 and the 200% increase. It's going to haunt them for life.
Yeah.
Because they say, they're not really business about we. They're no business about we.
Percy, a couple of things are happening. And almost every day, I am thinking, this is a zero-sum game. I want us to become very familiar with the
Zero-sum?
the expression, yes. And I want to be able to explain it, because I think this issue with the teachers, the minister saying one thing and then being proven wrong, and those watching the situation sort of making an open challenge to her, the accuracy of what she's saying. The issue of education, we're locked in a zero-sum game. If one side wins, the other side loses, but what the other side loses represents a loss to the winner also.
So you want to do the definition for a zero-sum game?
Yeah, I can read it.
A
zero-sum game.
A zero-sum is a situation often cited in game theory in which one person's gain is equivalent to another person's loss. So the net change in wealth or benefit is zero.
That is where you get to the zero.
Zero, yeah.
This situation, we need to understand that government side, you locked in your different type of conflicts and dispute with teachers or with the system. Your victory is also your loss.
Our loss.
Teachers, seeing yourself having to fight against your own country, your own government for your survival, electing to leave, it may gain you some additional money in your pocket, but the separation from your country, for yourself, for your children, zero.
Zero.
Your gain, in fact, you may end up, we say zero sum because until a few years ago when I learned that there is something that is less than zero,
Yeah, I remember I told that story. You told me the
Yes,
story.
man, this is when Gordon Robinson became my hero. Gordon said, yes, you can be worse than zero. You can be in minus.
Yes.
You can owe something.
You remember number line theory you learned in school, and you have zero, and you have plus, and then you have negative.
Minus.
Right. And
So this situation that we're in, it is not a contest that one can really pursue and believe that there is victory somewhere in it. As long as we are locked in conflict, no winners. There are no winners, no matter what it looks like. Teachers having to pack up their kids, their family, go to a foreign country, accepting money. This now is where the things that money can get you become so big in your contemplation that you don't even realize that the only reason you're getting that opportunity in that foreign country is because they have abused their own service providers to the extent where they are losing teachers. Just the way the Jamaican government is not rewarding and respecting the rights of teachers, so it is. The JTA itself brought
The General
the
Secretary.
General Secretary of their American equivalent to speak at their conference, and he was saying the same thing. In fact, he stopped short of saying what for me was the obvious, that when you come and give them an alternative to us, it legitimizes their abuse. We make no headway on the issues that are important to us, just like you, teachers in the United States and elsewhere, are fighting to be recognized and treated fairly. And when you come with your cheaper self and give them an alternative to those whom they are abusing at home, overall, there's no advancement, zero sum.
But another thing, what COVID did for a lot of the teachers, a lot of them just move out of the classroom, not even them just say,
Yes,
you know, I can't
just
teach
left the
online.
profession.
I teach online, I gone.
Left the classroom, but not the profession.
Yeah.
Yeah. Earl Brown is telling us here that after the revolution in Cuba, all the teachers left Cuba. Jamaica must find out what Cuba did to teach the children and students.
That's interesting.
I don't know that all the teachers left Cuba.
No,
Anyway,
man. No,
whatever it is, I know that Cuba takes education very seriously and are constantly educating their population.
And they're exporting.
And they export
yeah.
educated, skilled labor all over the world where they are well received. Jamaica being one such place. Jamaica get teachers. We get teachers, engineers, doctors, a number of professionals. Oh, one of your listeners who keeps in touch with you by WhatsApp. Why is the Ministry of Education afraid to admit that there's an issue and work to fix it? Over 800 vacancies is madness. Zero sum is correct. The minister and the JTA, new president, need to sit
and solve it.
They
Yeah.
need to sit and solve it. That's
That is-
true.
that is
and that's
Rohan.
where, yeah, okay, and that's where I'm going. Thank you, Rohan. That's where we need to be. There are no winners here. The two sides need to cease the hostilities, get together, and in a respectful way, deal with it. And
That we win,
and don't
win.
be mindful of Mr. Blythe's. No, what's his name again?
Which one?
The governor, Mr. Biles.
Oh, Mr.
Yeah.
Biles. Oh, Mr. Biles.
Don't
yes.
be distracted by what Mr.
Biles
Biles
is
said.
saying, yeah.
Because any increase in pay for teachers would not be something extraordinary.
Yeah.
Yeah, need to take away the restraint at this point
Right.
and be able to treat them fairly, or else we are going to lose them. And the same thing is looming where the police are concerned.
Because up to now, the man's still on
Interdiction.
Yeah.
Yes, under disciplinary sanction
Because
because
he
of the
spoke up.
strength of his advocacy, which raises a whole new set of disturbing issues.
We're going back to the
But,
plantation.
well, we are revealing that we never left the plantation.
We never left the
That's
plantation
what
at all.
is being
It's true.
exposed now.
Yeah.
That the mentality is still there. But when you can have open day, old time, wild west train robbery in the middle of a town.
In Mandeville, in the middle of
yes.
Mandeville. And I know the place. Because, you know, my best half come from Mandeville.
Yes. yes.
So we go down, we see it all the
Now,
time. And I'm
first
going,
of all,
yes?
when you say your best half,
Yes.
I know you mean to elevate the lady, but you're now suggesting that you have at least 3 wives.
3 wives?
Good, better, best.
I know.
Does she know?
That there's good, better, best?
No, does she know that it's 3?
3 wives now?
Yeah.
Really, no. No, she knows only she alone.
Good job, Percy.
That's why I love you so. To you.
Good job. Yeah, I know what you mean. But, so you know the area, and you know how bizarre it must have been.
No, but it's right where that happened, you know, the BNS is right in the center of the town. You come down and it's like a 4-way there and it's there. So when you see that shootout, it's Wild West.
Yeah.
Not going, really?
So you need now a police force with the mindset, the confidence, and the skill to respond to that type of pressure. Because a lot of what it exposed and what citizens are saying in the aftermath of it is, where were the police?
That's
What
right
is-
in the
what
center of
kind
the
of-
town.
yeah.
I mean, where were the police? And the police station is not far from there.
Yeah.
It's serious.
So it really strikes at the heart of whatever notion of peace and security and good policing we can expect. And it there, you might that might not happen. So that might not happen at Scotia Center, or it might not happen in some high profile setting in the corporate area. But you know what? We have like,
Them daring
let
man.
us say that you think Montego Bay is of the same profile as Kingston. We only have two cities, Mobay and Kingston. The rest of Jamaica, where banks are and business getting done, are vulnerable. So if you would do that in Mandeville, what would you do in Spaldings or Christiana or Black River or Sav?
Remember they tried one in Black River, I
Yeah,
know.
they're going to be trying again, because didn't they try one in Mandeville too?
Yeah, they tried.
Second thing in Mandeville.
Yeah, but
isn't
I'm
it?
saying, yeah.
All right, so the police, I'm just emphasizing that the police need to be feeling a lot more secure and loved.
Than that. And they
Yeah.
and it must become, we're saying, a win-win situation. We win-win in this morning.
That's what we want. We don't want zero sum.
No, we want a win-win
We
situation.
want a win-win
And
situation.
when we come back, I want to talk about, as we continue in the police, there's something heard on the news on another station. I want to talk about it.
All right. Let's take our break. Our guest online with us now is Mr. Mark Cameron, who just got Percival well excited by mentioning Calabar because among his many accomplishments, he spent some time at Calabar and he is also an athlete. So this is a man who has so many talents that were I to try and outline them, I might lose. You might not get to hear his voice. So I'm just gonna say that we're having him on with us this morning because he has taken the bold move of registering an organization, let me call it that, which has the main task of advocating for change, mobilizing Jamaicans to move in the direction of change. It has a strong political focus, but above all else, it is working at the people level, at the community level, to get Jamaicans involved in lifting up Jamaica. The organization is called
Up
Up
Jamaica.
Jamaica. And I just want to welcome Mark Cameron. Pastor Percival, anything you want to say before Mark speaks?
Mark is bringing the Jamaica heat. He's bringing heat to the situation in Jamaica. Welcome, Mark. How are you?
Well, it will be a blessing all around.
But Mark, my co-host has a very strong opinions about the diaspora. You told us that you were overseas and you've come back home because Jamaica is in your heart.
All right, don't step in the middle yet, man. That was happening. Mark, before we talk about your time overseas, I want our listeners to discover something about you. We are in a period, as you know, when integrity and accountability are hot topics on the Jamaican agenda. So we want to know. When I came back to Jamaica, first of all, I was rooted out to Jamaica by my parents. How old were you then? I was only like 17, you know. Based on this lie about Jamaica going communist, and a lot of Jamaicans left. And I couldn't understand why we were leaving our country. And I spent most of my life trying to come back.
Okay.
So, while being in New York and California, where I got married and that kind of thing. What did you study while you were abroad? What are the skills that you acquired? I did graphic arts because I've always been an artist. But went into more graphic arts. I opened a restaurant in California called the Caribbean Grill. I opened another company called Innovative Concepts where we design logos. I traveled with the regular Sunsplash tour, designed your logos, printed your T-shirts, and had that company for about 20 years. And I had the Caribbean Grill for 14 years. So when I got to a point where most people thought that I would have just stayed in California since my business was doing very well, they couldn't understand why I wanted to come back to Jamaica. And they didn't realize that all these years that I was living in California, I was trying to find my way back to Jamaica. Home. So at this point, I want you to say something to our many teachers who are migrating for the better life abroad. Well, I write a lot of poetry and poems. Yes. And I think I have a poem that I probably can't read now, but it speaks to that. One of the things that people don't realize that you might have a better life materially, where you exist without living. You can exist and you can live. Now we have been because of our colonial legacy and of slavery and so on. We have a lack of self-worth. And a lot of people believe that if we have a certain type of car, live in a certain type of home, then it makes us somebody. That's a legacy of the repair that is needed in reparation. Okay, that is the part. And that's not something which money will cure or teach us. Absolutely not. I understand perfectly what you're saying. Yes. As a matter of fact, my wife would always say, you're always
talk about your high school days, and it's like you want to relive them. I say, you know something? Those are the best days of my life, and I never had as much money.
Mm.
Most
Or
of us never had the money.
or
Just
or or
enjoy our
even
camaraderie
or even
and all.
independence because you were under parental supervision,
But
Right,
but you felt
but
free.
yeah, and we're connected. There's a
Yes.
connectivity that we had among ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Even the rivalry that we had with KC and the different schools that we had. I mean, when I meet my KC rivals in different meet and greets, I mean, I'm
Yes.
so happy to see them
Yes.
because those are a part of our journey.
Which
And the focus has shifted from integrity to how much money you have and who you know. That is not the Jamaica that has given us the great equity that we have around the world.
so
We are
I
now living off of the equity that we've gotten based on our mothers and fathers.
so I really thank you for those comments because earlier Percival and myself were talking about we were defining the conflict that exists currently between state and citizen as a zero sum game. For one to win, the other must lose. But that loss is a loss felt all around. Even the winner has taken nothing home. You have set your cap now into the field to help to restore some sort of balance and rebuild the self-esteem of the people because I take that self-esteem point really well. How are you seeking to do that? What does Up Jamaica represent?
Up Jamaica represents a change of mindset. It represents inclusion. It represents empathy for the Jamaican people. It represents innovation. Um, in terms of where I'm coming from, I've done a lot of innovative things, which I believe I could bring to the table. We up Jamaica, we operate as a council of leaders who, with different skill sets. We believe in meritocracy, a government based on merit, not based on your on favoritism, nepotism, and all the other isms and schisms that seem to
Dictates.
debilitate, yes, our country.
Yeah,
And I'll give you a good example.
please.
If Jamaica was only Kingston, Shelley and Fraser would be our only gold medalists. Now, if you include Manchester, you have Elaine Thompson. If you include Trelawney, then you'd have both. Now, if you look on it
From St. Anne.
on a broader scope, and you give all persons equal opportunity, you would be surprised at how much greater our country would be. And I always use athletics as a model. If we when I ran for Calabar in '79, Herb McKinley, although we got along very well, he gave me my spot on the hurdles team because he liked me. I had to
You have
prove
to earn
myself
it.
at the development meets, the different tips release and all the different meets that we have around the country for me to be chosen to represent my school. That is not the same situation that we have here in our government. It's based on who you're able to coerce or to trick into believing that you're going to a good job for the country. It's not based on merit.
So this means then that you must be taking a very strong position in the process underway for constitutional reform.
Absolutely. We had a discussion. I was one of the presenters at Jamaica House, representing of Jamaica, along with Peter Townsend from India.
Yes.
Um, who we have the same government structure. I was pleasantly surprised to find out that in India, the Marcus Garvey political movement, UIC, and of Jamaica are all on the same page. We
So
want the same government structure that involves more inclusion in the Jamaican people making decisions for themselves and not
so
those
what do you what do
sure,
you
go ahead.
how do you plan to participate in advancing the level of lo- local discussion in constitutional reform. Are there any discrete plans, anything that an agenda which you and the other members of your council are proposing that Jamaicans can participate in now? Do you have your own schedule of community consultations? What can you share with us?
Absolutely. We had a conference a couple of weeks ago at the conference center.
Yes.
Okay.
Where we all came together. The Marcus Garvey political movement of Jamaica, NDM. We're all brothers and sisters on for the same cause. So we don't see ourselves as separate. We're diverse on the same trajectory. We have diversity in the same trajectory. We want the same things.
May I
Okay.
ask you? May I ask you?
We want. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, first, give me the answer concerning the agenda of activities, so persons can know and look out for you as you get into the country and you begin going around. What kind of activities are we looking at?
Well, first of all, we believe that unlike the Constitutional Reform Committee, we
Yeah.
believe that education is a key component to making the decisions.
Okay. So,
Ignorant of the facts. A lot of people don't even know what the Jamaican Constitution is about.
So, do you
So
have
what
a
we plan-
you have a
what
public
we plan to do-
education?
you have a public
Oh,
education
yes. I want
campaign.
to speak on that right now.
Yes, please.
What we plan to do is to do town hall meetings around the country
Okay.
When do you
to
begin?
educate our fellow Jamaicans about what their responsibilities to the country and what government's responsibilities to our people.
Do you have a
And
start
America,
date? Do you have a start date as yet? We have about
we are
5 minutes left, so I want to make the best use of the
okay.
time.
We're having another conference at the at UE on the 14th of October. We're
14th
going
of
to be getting the
October.
signatures.
Okay.
To finish to get the signatures to represent in the next election because it's very important. We're coming together as one unit.
Yes.
If NDM has a candidate in a particular area that we don't have one, we're going to support that candidate and vice versa.
Ah, that was my
Hopefully,
next
hopefully,
question. Yes.
hopefully,
Hmm?
that get together
On the 14th.
we'll be under one umbrella.
Well,
To,
can
to,
I, let me
so
let
in other
me
words, there'll be no confusion in terms of who persons are voting for and what they're all about because we're on the same page.
All right. So
NDM,
let me summarize it and you tell me if this captures it, because I have long believed that Jamaica is ripe for a political alliance style government where several independents can come together in parliament and be that force from which, even if we don't change our structure, a prime minister
Right.
could be drawn from that body of persons, because we would have broken the dominance of the PNP JLP dynamic. So, are you saying to me now that in the next election, if all goes well, candidates from UIC, NDM, Up Jamaica can,
Marcus Garvey Party.
Marcus Garvey Party, if their candidates survive, we could have an alternative majority from which leadership can be drawn?
absolutely. Right now, we are under the governance of
That's
a duopoly
fantastic.
governance between GLP and PNP.
Yes.
It's GLP and PNP against the Jamaican people. So guess what now? We have followed them enough. So right now, but the difference is that we are the people.
Yes.
It'll be the all united movement for the Jamaican people and not against the Jamaican people. The Jamaican people have more say. We have a recall option in our clause. We believe that all representatives must live in their own parish. So if me
Their
bust my
constituency.
spring now from my car, the MP spring bust too.
Well,
We have to be, yes, we walking with the people. As Michael Manley would talk about back in the day. You must walk and talk with the people and not dictate to the people. That is the kind of governance what we need.
well,
So we have the unity that we deserve.
and it will, and I'm saying this for your feedback. If you were to succeed in what you're proposing in upcoming
We are going to
elections,
succeed.
Oi.
We are going to succeed.
when you
Go ahead.
succeed in your new structure, it will force into fruition some of the proposals now on the table as to the redesign of government, because if the majority comes out of the new
Alliance.
alliance, then the look and shape, the cabinet would be different, and the party structure which dominates the presentation of laws and the debate of laws and voting on things would fall away.
Well, it has to be different, and I'll tell you why. There's one key thing that we need to understand. We believe in a directly elected president. We do not believe in a ceremonial president. That's a waste of money and waste of resources. The governor general costs us $470 million a year that can fix a whole bunch of potholes and put water into many communities. He also gets 40 million a year with the new salary increase that is outrageous. Secondly, we believe that the Senate should be elected by the people, not appointed by the dual party governors. No, we don't believe in that. We also believe that the DPP must be elected by the people or by an elected Senate. We cannot, that's why we have people in government walking around under the suspicion of crime.
Oh,
That's why we have members that
all
are
right,
out that are under suspicion.
we're at the eight. We are at the
Cannot be announced.
mark. We are at the 8:30 mark. I'm going to ask you to just hold for me. If I can bring you back after the break, I will do so. But please hold for me. We have to take our station break. It's now 8:30 a.m. Our guest on the line is Mark Cameron, founder, advocate, power behind Up Jamaica, and speaking the language of unity, alliance, and the potential for great change in how Jamaica manages her political affairs. Please stay with us. When we return, we'll just try and wrap up with Mark Cameron, and you'll hear from us further. welcome back. We have the opportunity to just wrap up our conversation with the very interesting Mark Cameron. Really, not someone you can fit into a half-hour discussion, but with the time we had, we tried to just give you a flavor of the man, the politics, his beliefs, what he's seeking to accomplish in Jamaica. Welcome back, Mark.
Yes, thanks for having me again.
Yes. So we have 5 minutes, and we're going to use it
Hmm.
as best we can for you to
Okay.
say. I want you to say what it is that you want from the Jamaican people. How can we support, respond, associate ourselves with what you're doing?
Well, first of all, the Jamaican people need to understand they should not fall for the common narrative of throwing away your vote for another option. Jamaican people have thrown away their votes for the last 60 years. We have not been getting a government that represents the people, by the people, for the people. So let's throw that out of the window. I like the Jamaican people to look on what has not worked. We have a history in Jamaica where we can look back on what has worked and what has not worked. We know that the two-party government, duopoly governance that we've had has not helped our country. Everything has been getting from bad to worse. So that is the first thing I wanted to talk about. We also need to look on a new model that is based on Jamaicans, the best of Jamaicans, making the best decisions for our country, for the collective good. We have to believe in the philosophy of collective rising. As I mentioned before, if Jamaicans are not viable, are not working, are not able to produce and take care of their families, they cannot support any person who desires to be rich. Because at the end of the day, you need persons who are able to afford your product or service for anybody to become wealthy in this country. We also have to look on the matter of integrity. We have to re-educate our children, bring back civics into our country to allow the Jamaican people to understand their responsibility to our country. It's not about taking from our country all the time. It's about giving back. We have taken, Jamaica has given and given, and we have not replaced what Jamaica has given us. The bauxite is, the mining is destroying our farming sector, which is one of the key components of our economic development that has been marginalized by this government. We are now planting homes on agricultural lands that are viable for mechanized farming. Why are we planting homes on land that is best for mechanized farming, which will increase our productivity and our profit margin? Why are we doing that? We also have not looked on land for our people who got nothing after slavery.
As we wrap up, Mark.
Wow,
Yeah.
you have some significant touch points, I believe, that I think a lot of Jamaicans can resonate with. You've spoken about education, you've spoken about land, you've spoken about a new value system, you've spoken about national pride. So those are the things that you believe this new movement are going to be pushing out to Jamaican people, and the other members agree on those things. Is that correct?
All the members are on board, and I'm so happy that we can be a beacon of light, of unity across Jamaica, because I look on my Indian brothers as our brothers and sisters. I look on the Marcus Garvey people and their movement as our brothers and our sisters. I see the same way. They're all Jamaicans. We need to stop this fighting, this political fighting. We're killing ourselves and we're destroying a country that we've been blessed to call Jamaica, that we can call our own. We need to embrace the best of our country and to ensure that the next generation can have a better Jamaica. And I'll leave you with this.
Yes.
One of the driving points behind our advocacy is that we believe that we cannot leave the necessary change to the next generation.
Okay.
Because we are the ones that made this dysfunction possible. So we have to fix it. We cannot leave this to the next generation to fix.
All right.
If
Thank
we
you
care
very
about
much.
our people,
Thank you
we
very
have
much,
to
Mark.
make that change.
Thank you very much. We're just going to repeat for the benefit of those who want to connect with what you're doing. There will be an event on the 14th of October at UWI I'm sure Mark will give us more details and we'll share it with you because we know there are many listeners looking for something in which they can participate and be a part of the change we want to see in this nation. Thank you again, my brother, for sharing with us this morning. I know we'll speak again because you didn't say nearly enough about the restaurants and the culinary exploits and the smoker that can feed 300
People
people
at
every
work. Yeah,
2 hours.
all right, man.
So we
Listen,
definitely want to hear more and experience some of your artistry, not just your advocacy. Thank you. Have a great day, Mark.
Thank you so much for having me and all the best. Thank
Thank
you.
you. You're most welcome.
Bye.
All right. So you, I know those who are listening realize that Mark would still be speaking to us on these issues because a
it's
lot
in
of
his
what we
heart. He's
talk about
passionate
is
about it.
so much in his heart. Um, the, the, the artist in him is just such a nice point of segue into this speaking with our guests who are now on set with us. Yes, we have a set. It's a table and four chairs.
Still a set.
That's it.
Sorry
Still a,
about that
no
set.
matter how simple it is, it's a set.
No, no, that's what we do. That it is a set because that's what you use, right? So
Yeah.
that's this. That's this.
That's their business. They know what they're talking about. So, art imitates life. We have on set with us, not imitators now, the real deal, Mr. Orville Hall, and his partner, Constable Shelley. Have you
Wow.
been promoted? Are you sergeant? Are you?
None of the above. I mean, you know, I'm
You're
a,
happy where you are.
yeah, yeah. You know,
All
you don't.
right.
Nobody don't get to know who you really are. They just see you
Yes.
turn up, but at some point they see,
Undercover.
aha,
They're working undercover.
there you
All
go.
right. So
Like that. No,
Yeah.
you see that? I would have had something to you, but I'll leave it at that.
Right, right, right.
about 2 weeks ago or thereabouts, man, we ripped these two out of their bed early in the morning. They came here bleary eyed and they promised they would come back well rested and happy to share with us some more of their exploits. I said art imitates life because just now we were speaking to Mark Cameron, who is one of the founders, conveners of a new movement. You've heard it here if you didn't pay him attention when he was in the news earlier. Lift, what is it? Up Jamaica.
Up
Why did
Jamaica.
I say lift? Oh, that's another art program. Yeah, Lift Up Jamaica. Up Jamaica. And Up Jamaica is seeking to just bring some
Mobilize. Bring about
voices
change.
speaking in the same tone to bring about change. You now are in the creative space, and I just want to kick off the conversation looking at how the arts, entertainment, this aspect of culture can play a role in promoting change and representing the activism that you see taking place in, I'm going to say in the real world. It's all in the real world, in a manner of speaking. Yeah, any of your characters can resonate with what a Mark Cameron is doing?
Oh, absolutely. Most of our characters, if not all, can resonate and identify. What I took away from what Mark was saying is when he said we need to collaborate with dignity. Is that the word he used? But you know to do more collaborations, but we need to be dignified about our unions because I mean we're people who have been burnt generally, but I don't think we should go into any kind of relationship with that kind of baggage. I think we need to shed it because many times I think we need to look at us and how what our frequencies are that draw people around us. You know, because sometimes we need to change our frequency to pull the right
attract the right
people
people.
around us.
Wow.
So sometimes it's us, you know. So
All right.
we
So,
need to be
so for those
careful.
who don't know the voice and the face, Orville Hall. Now, Orville, when you said Orville to me a couple of days ago, I could hear Francois saying Orville
Oh,
because Orville is
Yes.
no stranger to radio as well. He's part of Full House Friday.
yes, for
In
16
another
years.
place. He's a
16
mature
years.
member of Full House Friday.